Alright guys, um, this is my expansion, MyGm 2K19. I'm going hard because medium is too easy. We'll go 12 minutes, normalized stats, everything else stays the same. All-star, just how quickly develop. I want to lower this a little bit just because I make a lot of trades in the beginning and I don't want players to get cucked there. So I'll keep that there. Yeah, let's get into it. I will do the emeralds. I like to randomize it to a point where I get patience and I like to get patience and importance of money. So those are two, and I don't like importance of team success because it takes me 2 to 3 years of being okay, and I don't want to get fired in that period. I want to keep my job. This is more for being the GM, but this is by far the best mode, so I have to be the GM and be rated underneath the owner, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Alright, so while I'll talk to him about training, he wants a trainer, he wants me to target 25 guys or under, that's what I want. He wants younger guys, 25 and under, for free agency and drafting, which I'm okay with. So I will do that. We have a cheap budget. We're from Cincinnati. We'll use this draft class. Steve Nash, Kidd, Hill, Allen, Maurice Cheeks, Charlie Scott all got inducted. That 3 against the Spurs was unbelievable. Alright. So the league meeting. Another expansion team we just added 2. We're good. Nah. I usually say no to everything just because I don't want change. Because if you accidentally say yes to a couple of these things, like one of them is you can change shot clock to 30 seconds. That could really change the game. I don't want that. I want this to be as realistic as possible. I don't like how these people do realistic rebuilds and they're always like trading for Kevin Garnett or, well, he doesn't play anymore, but hope you get my point. It's always like trading away AJ Green and Andy Dalton or going after Bradley Beal. Like something that just seems really unrealistic. So I want to keep it as realistic as possible. Some things I'm looking for is for a head coaching job. I want a guy who can run the grit and grind system. I think Tyronn Lue's a perfect offer for that. Obviously, I'm going to offer him a lot of money. I think he fits a system. He's a younger coach. He has A- in development, so the guy can still develop. I think that's really important because this is going to take a couple years. So he wants 305 for 4 years. I'll give him 350. I think that seems fair. And then for scouting, I think scouting is the next important thing. I like this Walter Forrest guy. I think he's cheap. I know he's the underrated guy who still has potential as well as his scouting is above average, which is a C. He's rocking that pink, so I'll give him what he wants. I'll give him 181 million, but for 3 years. I think it's important that not everyone has the same amount of job security. Trainer, so that was the one thing the GM wanted. He wanted an A- trainer, and he is the only guy, so he's got 4 offers, so I'm going to have to offer him a lot, even though his potential is terrible. So I'll give him 4 years. I'd say 260. That seems about fair. I think that would, I think it's an offer that he can't turn down. I give him his guaranteed money and contract length. Next we'll go with CFO. I don't really care about this. Usually expansion teams make a shit ton of money their first couple years. So I'm not necessarily worried. By the way, I'm not necessarily worried about having a really good guy who turns in profit very quickly. because they're going to bring in a lot of money. And I'm not spending much my first year as the GM. We're not spending a lot, which is ideal. So we'll keep it relatively cheap. Most of these guys are asking for like $500,000 to $1 million. I think 452 is very reasonable. Like I said, we're not spending a lot of money, so I'm not worried about this guy not bringing in the maximum profit, because at the end of the day, we'll be bringing in $60-70 million the first year because we're not spending much. And who knows, maybe we get the All-Star. So this guy, Owen Masters, one of his disadvantages, he tries to get you fired. So even though he's high on everyone's board, nobody's offering him a deal, so I'm giving him a cheap. So Randy Martin's going to accept our deal. Tyronn Lue's going to accept our deal. So we got our two guys out of the way. Also, we get Rodgers and Forrest. So now that we have our coach, I'll look for assistant coach. So Tyronn Lue's more of an offensive-minded guy, which, I don't know, doesn't really fit our system even though he runs it. I like this Isaac Farmer guy. Very high defensively, not good offensively. So both guys counter each other. They both work well for each other. They're like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I think this works out well if we're able to give him I'll give him 577. We have $3 million to spend for 2 more jobs. So he'll sign and Farmer will sign. So this is our coaching staff: Caleb Rogers, Masters, Lou, Farmer, Forrest, Randy Martin. Excited to work with these guys. So NBA Draft Combine, I'm looking for a little bit rundown for grit and grind system. These guys, perfect examples, the Memphis Grizzlies. They won't have the best roster ever, but day in and day out, these guys will hustle. These guys will play hard. The guys will get dirty. Defensive guys who can rebound. Really good on-ball, off-ball IQ when it comes to defensive assignments. Terrible three-point shooters. It's brutal. Guys are really bad three-point shooters. It's all defensive. If I hold them under 100 points, I realistically think they have a chance to win the game, and that's important. So, a little rundown. These are the guys who are drafting. I'm looking at Jacob Evans as my number 1. I think he's really important. We'll probably trade back or attempt to trade some of the expansion guys for second-rounders and package that up and move up in the draft. I'll also bring in, I have 12 workouts, so I'll bring in DeAndre Ayton. I'm bringing in any guys who are defensive minded. Jaren Jackson's a perfect fit, hence why he's in Memphis. Bamba's not bad. Kevin Knox, he's not bad. Like for example, like the worst fit would be a Trae Young kind of guy who just shoots constantly. Doesn't really fit my system. Bagley wouldn't be bad. Bridges wouldn't be bad. Okogie wouldn't be bad. But my number 1's Jacob Evans. Some second-round guys to keep it out for personally. Javon Carter's one of them. Zaire Smith is another. And then the other one I really, really like is Robert Williams. Those are kind of the 3 second-round guys that we'll keep an eye on. And if they're available, we'll take them. If not, we either take a guy like Kyrie Thomas who somewhat fits our scheme. Troy Brown's another one. Bates Diop's another one. Diallo's another one. Melvin Frazier's one of those guys. So we'll see. I mean, Roger Shamet's another one. There's just a couple guys. Vanderbilt's one that we could draft. There's a couple guys where Nate Farmer that fits our system somewhat, but I don't know if I'd rather use a pick forward or trade for a future draft pick or a player that would fit our scheme more. We'll see. All right, when it comes to expansion draft, any big name guys that are being kept as of now, Chandler Parsons. Any guys that I'd be interested. Dwight Howard, 81 overall. That's a good guy to build around, but kind of a locker room cancer. I'm looking for team players. He also put his wiener in the wrong place. Reggie Jackson's one of them. Wouldn't be bad. Tyson Chandler's definitely a guy that I'd be willing to draft, even though he's $14 million. Really fits our scheme. The guy, so I'm looking for perimeter defense, post defense. He's both above average or right there on the border. Rebounding's another big one. Basketball IQ is a huge one. And then I also the other 2 stats I look for is I look for potential. Guy can still be a 79 overall for being 35, which is unbelievable. I look for stamina. I'm playing 10 guys a game. Guys are rotating constantly. That's important. And then hustle's the big one. Those are kind of the big 3 Anyone else? Guys that my target is Andre Robertson's one of them. He's a defensive player. um, any other big namers? Not really. All these other guys. If there's any other good guys, their contracts are probably not the best. Like Shumpert, obviously he's not a bad depth player for a playoff team. Obviously not the Kings, but 11 million. That's just not what I don't want. Bad contracts. We can start anew. That's something I don't want. Bad contracts is something that we can avoid. And even if it is a bad contract, that I still think we can still get a pretty good offer. Guys with bad contracts, I think there's some guys we can take those contracts because we have $76 million to spend, who would be worth will be worth the money. All right, I'm gonna stop here. I hope you guys enjoyed the first part. This is more of a test. This first part was more of a test for my microphone. Did it record? Can I upload it to YouTube? Stuff like that. But hopefully it works out well. Um, hopefully I don't have to do this again. And then I'll probably record the second part today. If it worked out well, I'm just going to test it right now. We'll go expansion draft, rookie draft. We'll sign our rookies, option deals, hit the free agency market, look at progression. I'll explain. This one will be about a 30-minute video. I'll explain about how we're going to progress because it's the hardest level. You're not guaranteed these guys' overalls to get there. You have to do certain stuff and make them work on certain things to get better. It is a true challenge. It's really hard. And then we'll probably either stop at the summer league or I'll do the summer league. I might just finish this off, this part right here. So we'll see how it goes. For anybody's listening, thanks for taking your time out of your day to listen to this. I will see you later today.